Yeah, so it's 900 million in China, 300 million outside.
Right.
We see the 300 million growing dramatically outside of China. Indeed, we have an ambition of serving 2 billion consumers over the next 10 plus years. And so clearly, the majority of those are going to come from outside China. And there are tremendous growth opportunities. Today in Indonesia, for example, Dana is serving a good number of consumers, but it's a huge country. Same thing in India. Paytm's the leading mobile payment platform there, but it's still very early stage. And so, hundreds of millions of consumers who can be added to our platforms.
What have you found in India in terms of their push on fintech services versus what you've experienced here in China?
India is one of the most robust and fastest growing markets for mobile payments in the world. The government in India has been very forward-thinking, introducing new policies, new ideas, and a lot of this has actually promoted use of mobile payments. And so we see very rapid growth with more and more consumers transferring money between consumers in India, and now increasingly paying at small businesses with mobile payments. And so our platform, Paytm, is now serving tens of millions of small merchants who are accepting payment with a simple QR code. And with that, they can sell more, they can expand their business more, and there's great opportunity. So India is actually a very robust market, but I would say it's not singular in that way. Many of the countries in Southeast Asia are growing very, very rapidly. And actually, one interesting fact is that we just had Alibaba's Singles Day last week. And so we were promoting people to participate on e-commerce. And in Southeast Asia, our platforms did transactions at 26 times the average daily volume. And our platform in Indonesia, Dana, did 80 times normal daily volume. TNGD in Malaysia did 28 times average daily volume. So these are huge upticks, both in terms of mobile payment and e-commerce across these countries.
Yet Jack Ma seemed to suggest that he was a little bit disappointed with the Singles Day performance based on his big expectations, and it comes at a time where we're looking at the consumer as somewhat of a barometer of where we are in the global economy, in the slowdown more broadly speaking in this region. I mean, what do you see based on what you're seeing with Alipay?
Well, I will say, Jack always sets a high bar for all of us. Every time we say, okay, we're going to go, up 50%, he's like, no, how about up 100 in any given metric? So that's one of the things that's made this company successful. But we're actually very pleased with what we see in terms of the expansion of e-commerce and of the payment in these countries. I think that the adoption tends to follow a curve where you have to kind of start with a core base of people who start to know about the service and how it works, and then the word of mouth starts to spread, and it goes viral, and then you can get much more adoption. And I think we're at that stage in many of the countries in Southeast Asia where the early adopters have come on board, but there's a lot more that we can do from here.
Speaking of Jack Ma and his big expectations that have really set the tone, we should say, for Alibaba and the success they've had there, and a lot of attention now turns to Alibaba's IPO ambitions in Hong Kong. I mean, how closely are you watching this and the performance there as Ant Financial looks eventually to their own IPO?
Well, we're pleased to see it. I'll leave it to Alibaba to talk about the specifics of it. But as Alibaba's sister company, we work very closely with them, and I think Asia is a huge growth market and a key focus for the whole Alibaba economy. And so we think that'll help to highlight a lot of the things that we can do in this region and see tremendous growth. That's part of the reason in establishing our payment capabilities, we focused on Asia because we see a huge growth there, and that I think can continue for many years.